It's going in the direction of home, finally. My head still aches, but it's by far not as bad as 2 weeks ago. The doctor explained to me that I could be moved to the Homeland now without problems. It's first supposed to go to Tübingen. A specialist there should take a look at my skull bone. If home already, then it would have been nice if I'd come a bit closer to Hamburg. But all right, I had already sent the request with Schmidt that I wanted to take a few days leave after the stay in the hospital and convalescent leave. Today a letter from the Sarge arrived that I could take another 7 days leave. I just have to report back in time to the replacement regiment. Not that the MPs would come looking for me. Along with some rations and the necessary papers, we are brought to the train station in a medical transport. With me are still Peter and Eugen. Hans isn't quite ready yet to be allowed to be moved. At the station, the engine is already under steam. There's a hustle and bustle at the ramp. Soldiers on leave, wounded, and everything else are still being loaded, and it seems as if people are trying to get out of the city as fast as possible. Surely the danger of Russian planes is always present, but in the vicinity there is a fighter base. I've also seen several anti-aircraft batteries. In front of the train engine are attached 3 extra cars, all to prevent attacks by partisans and the blowing up of the railroad tracks. Additionally, there's a quad anti-aircraft gun in front and in the back, so the strafing airplanes get smacked in case they try it. Cumbersome, we climb up in the car and are split up onto the bunk's bed. Not pretty, but still better than nothing. I force myself into a middle bunk, and I'm glad that I don't have to move any further. The shoulder does still hurt quite a bit. I'm hoping that we'll soon get a little better. After an hour, the car finally jolts forward and we are all happy to finally come home. We don't know yet how long the journey will take or what interruptions there still might be, but we'd have to count on 2 to 3 days at last. As soon as I'm in Tübingen, I will let my loved ones know. The monotonous clanking of the train is sleep-inducing. Only when the engine is taking on water or coal, the monotony is interrupted. The car we are lying in is heated well, and we are supplied with water and bread by a young private. On and off we hear the anti-aircraft gun barking, but the farther we're getting west, the quieter it becomes. The private soon tells us that we have crossed the border of the Reich. Now it wasn't too far to go. In the evening we are unloaded. One can already feel the march has begun. Some sun and mild temperatures are welcoming us in the city. In the usual orderly fashion, it's going to the large hospital, and before we know it, we are already in a large hospital room with clean beds and pretty nurses. I inquire right away whether I'd have the opportunity to let my family know that I'm in the Homeland and probably be able to come home soon. I'm assured that my family will be notified. That's really nice for now. The days go by fast since one has always got something going on. An examination here, a range of motion tests there, then again a head exam. It's going better and better with the shoulder. The doctor states if I keeps going like this, I should be able to move the arm again in a week. Of course, I'm eager to go home. The days move by, then I finally receive a message from Gudrun. Unfortunately, she can't visit me here since her father has become gravely ill and she has to take care of him. But I believe I will soon be coming home on convalescent leave. and I try everything to make that happen as soon as possible. Days pass. The news from Russia are not encouraging. Everywhere, the German units had to give up ground and straighten the front lines. The heavy blow around Stalingrad still seems to be in everyone's bones. An entire army destroyed by the Russians. That's bad, but I think of the fate of those who then were taken prisoner. I just hope spring will bring everything forward again, and we will now advance so far that the Russian will finally give up. So get well quickly and hopefully back to the regiment soon. On the radio, one constantly hears success stories, so things must be at their best on other fronts. My shoulder keeps improving, and I try hard, even if it hurts, to demonstrate to the doctor that everything should function well again. Another 3 days, and I can finally go home. The arm is still in a sling. I'm set in motion. 10 days convalescent leave, then report to the army doctor of the replacement unit, and then we will see further. By troop transport, I'm taken to the train station. After 2 hours of waiting, I'm able to catch a train which will take me toward Hamburg. I need an entire day to get farther to the north. In the evening, I'm finally in Hamburg and get on the way to my hometown. It's already dark, and I'm standing with little travel luggage and my uniform with the arm in the sling in front of Gudrun's house. She opens the door and falls around my neck. I can feel that in my shoulder, but I don't let it show. I'm overjoyed, and both of us hold each other tight for a long time and are letting the tears flow. Finally back home, it's going right into the living room. There I greet my mother-in-law, who holds me for a long time. She says that my parents have already been notified, but couldn't stop by until morning. That's fine with me. That way I have more time for my dear wife. Now first there's something good to eat and a bottle of beer to finish it off. Later I look at my father-in-law who's lying in bed with a bad case of pneumonia. It doesn't look good for him, but we keep hoping for the best. He smiles at me and explains how much it makes him happy that I'm back home. He also asks about the injury, but I explain to him it wasn't too bad. It turns into a few beautiful days at home. The weather is feeling sorry for us. The first rays of sunshine are announcing the approaching spring. It's already the middle of March. I'm letting myself enjoy it. My parents arrive. We talk about a lot. What all has happened here, and of course, they want to know all the details of my injury. My father is very proud of me and can now tell his comrades in the shooting club a lot of news about what all his son has experienced in the East. His eyes are light up when I talk, and sometimes I wonder if he'd like to be there once again by himself. Only my mother looks worried. My dear boy, you've now been wounded so many times. Be a bit more careful for once. I don't even try to explain it to her. That would be a lost cause. Of course, I promise to do so, and my mother is again comforted a bit. My sister also comes for a visit. She hasn't quite accepted her life as a widow, but here and there I spot a smile on her face. She takes care of the casualties of war in town, and I'm glad that she's found a mission which helps her to get over the pain. I tell everything, also bluntly, and then see on and off horrified faces. My arm sling I can also take off already and use the arm pretty well. With Gudrun it's wonderful. We have beautiful days and passionate nights. But there, time also passes too quick, and I sense that I have to leave again soon. Though not right to Russia, but first to the replacement unit to Neuruppin. But from experience I know that I won't be set on march right away, but the fitness for frontline duty is tested first. Then I probably still have 2 weeks in the Homeland and could return to Gudrun on the weekend. On Monday I report to the unit and give my papers to the Sarge. He checks my documents and studies my soldier's pay book carefully. He seems not unimpressed and asks about my arm. Truthfully, I declare that it was going pretty well again, but here and there I still have problems. Next station is a doctor who scrutinizes me from head to toe. Concerned, he explains to me that my young body has suffered quite a bit already, but up to now I was still well together. He orders another 2 weeks of light duty in the unit for me, then it would go back to the front. I'm glad that I still have a few days with Gudrun. The week continues with all kinds of useful and useless jobs in the area of the staff platoon. But it's also good for a change to trade experiences with the comrades at the home front. A few familiar faces are here, but still many common soldiers and non-commissioned officers with frontline experience who certainly, just like me, want to quickly get back to the front. The weekend I'm able to return to Gudrun once more and spend the final days with her. Her father's over the hump indeed. What a joy. Adding to it is that his company, relevant for war production, is well off. I hope that will remain this way. Before my departure, we talk a long time about our future. I can't make things up with Gudrun. I believe the war will last longer than planned. Also, offspring is a topic, and I've always had the opinion that one cannot stop God's will. Happy and content that everything at home is at its best. It's going back to the unit, and I let myself be surprised when it's finally a go. On Tuesday, we have a roll call, and it's explained that we are now gathering all friends again for the spring offensive. New material and replacement personnel would be massively deployed, and the Russian would now finally be wrestled to the ground. In the summer, everything would be taken care of, and the Russian bear bludgeoned. All right then, sounds pretty good already, and I hope the new tanks will also arrive in our regiment. Though Rosinante is really a fine tank, I hope that everything there is as it was. Not that my tank is junk. Wait and see. Now first, gather all papers again, and with 3 other tankers, it's going on a train toward the east. I snag a good seat on the train, and I can kill time with a few comrades over a proper game of cards. It's not comfortable, but in the train we settle in as well as we can. Parts of the regiment are still supposed to be stationed near Konstantinovka. I hope the train will take us close to there. I slowly doze off, and the rhythmic clanking of the tracks rocks you to sleep. I sink into my dream world with Gudrun and let the previous time passes by me anew. Once again, it was very nice at home, but somehow it keeps drawing one to the front over and over again. I'm already looking forward to the comrades and my tank. It's starting again, and I'm very optimistic that it will be over this summer. Then we will again have peace and can build a life for ourselves.